Good morning. Welcome to Pat's Pondering. I hear rain outside, so it's kind of a calm day today. Today we're going to be reading a part out of Chicken Soup for the Soul, Miraculous Messages from Heaven. And since Father's Day is coming up, I picked one related to a father. Angels can fly directly into the heart of the matter. Author unknown. Martha's message. It's been said a million times, when it rains, it pours. I say, well, during the early days of spring in the last year of the last millennium, my friend Tammy Rust, a school teacher from Delaware, experienced a Category 5 hurricane. But no storm lasts forever. And it's also been said many times over, every cloud has a silver lining. Graham Dill, Tammy's father, had a signature sign-off on his daughter in every written email, spoken voicemail, and face-to-face conversation. He would close by saying calmly, "Remember, God loves you, Tam, and so do I." When Graham died unexpectedly, Tammy was devastated. She had been very close to her father. After returning to Delaware for the funeral, Tammy visited her adopted teenage son, Robert, to deliver the bad news. Robert was a resident of the Sussex Work Release Program due to a substance abuse problem. He was also very close to his grandfather, who he affectionately known as Pop. Through the difficult times, Graham had supported Robert as he battled his demons. He was both an inspiration and a pillar of love for Robert to lean against, so the news was crushing. 3 days later, Tammy returned to work, depressed, but determined to move forward and stay positive. The following morning, the phone rang, and it was Robert's natural aunt with more bad news. Robert's birth mother had passed away. The aunt asked Tammy to inform Robert. She dreaded again being the bearer of bad news. She knew the visit would be one of the toughest chores in her life, but it had to be done. So 2 sleepless nights later, Tammy again visited her only son, nervous and saddened. Robert's counselor joined them as they sat together around a small table in a colorless room, above them fluorescent lights humming. As experts, the news didn't fall on happy ears. As expected, the news did not fall on happy ears. At first, Robert said nothing. Then he stood up and stared deep into his mother's face with teary eyes, and without warning, slammed his chair violently into the table. Finally, he ran from the room, overwhelmed by his grief. Then the counselor left without a word, leaving Tammy all alone. Several minutes later, she left the room, feeling utterly hopeless and emotionally drained. She was still coming to terms with her father's passing, and now she felt rejected by her child, a son she loved so much, at a time when she wanted to help him cope with upsetting news, but also a time when she needed him to help her with her own loss. Tammy made her way out of the building and across the parking lot to her car, obviously oblivious to everything around her. Somehow she got into her car before she started sobbing. She sat there for a few minutes crying and shaking and never feeling more alone in her life. Then a knock on the car window startled her. Partly embarrassed and partly annoyed, she glanced up through her swollen eyes to view the intruder. Standing at the side of the car was a woman with a kind face and tender eyes. She motioned for Tammy to roll down her window. After Tammy did, the lady smiled and introduced herself simply as Martha. Martha said softly, "I don't know who you are, but God spoke to my heart to come over to you. Tammy couldn't speak, so she listened. Martha then added, I don't know what is going on in your life right now, but be assured that things will get better. Then Martha leaned down closer and in the car to hug Tammy. Martha whispered in Tammy's ear, and always remember, God loves you and so do I. Tammy crumbled, having heard the exact words that her dear father frequently shared with her on every occasion, but now voiced by a total stranger. By the time Tammy composed herself, Martha was gone. Tammy looked everywhere, but the woman had disappeared. Tammy never saw her again, at the center, around town, anywhere. That was written by David Michael Smith. That would really be a neat way to have your father come back. My father's been gone for quite some time, and he's never come to me, but I think that's a beautiful way. And many times they don't come to us directly, they come through other people. I know my stepdaughter came to me in a dream. I mean, it was real. It was her. And her face was just shining and bright and happy. She was smiling. Her eyes were twinkling. So I called her dad and told her about it. He said, she's not hurting anymore. So I was just merely the messenger in that area. Sometimes it'll come through other people. So like Martha, she was merely the messenger. But I can't help but wonder, where she disappeared so fast, was she an angel? I think angels reach us all the time. But I hope you have a great Father's Day. As long as your father is still living, go celebrate him. And if not, go visit his grave. I'm going to go put flowers on my dad's grave. He's been gone a while now, but he's still very much a heart in my heart. So enjoy yourself. Have a great day with your dad. And I'll see you next week, okay? Bye for now.